Whoa, that shit got crazy. Hey everybody, it's Matt here. Um, Recording, actually, this is Sunday night as well, because my subscriber there, you know who you are, you're like the one. Um, Asked me what my latest feelings were. I'm sitting like this to start, because I don't feel like putting that fucking pin on my chest again, so I'm just gonna keep my arm over my fucking logo for this video. But, my latest feelings, I read the question, I was like, latest feelings on what? He said in particular, so I assume you mean just general wave of feeling that hit me, what I felt, and I was writing when you asked, so I hopped right off like I said I was going to do and record a video that I'm going to release on tomorrow, so you'll be seeing it November 12th? I think today's the 11th, but Monday, so tomorrow. Um, what hit me really hard is I was just writing. I got this new app in my phone, so I can just write. I'm actually trying to work on, like, I guess you could call it a book. I'm not big into books. I'm not a writer. But like people like my girlfriend and stuff have a hard time following my timeline because a lot of shit happened in the first 20 years of my life. And I was just starting to write just general, the story of my life type of thing. And childhood brings a lot of feelings that I struggle with. I was abused as a child. So there's a lot of pain and hurt and fear, regret, stuff like that from my childhood. The last thing I wrote was when I actually got this hand broken. I can show it. You can see that scar right there in the almost center of my hand. Almost center of the screen now. That scar, those two. It's from a compound fracture I got. This is the last thing I wrote, and then I had to stop writing. I was saving money, and I was close to being able to buy something, and made the poor choice of stealing from my mother. I stole $30 out of her purse. My father got home and dragged me out of bed, and kept asking me where the money was, and I just kept saying I didn't know. And he struck me 4 times in the hand with a hammer. By the time the whole ordeal was done, I was used to punches and kicks. I was drinking at that age. I was about 8. Actually, I was almost 9. I'd been drinking every day for some time, and he completely ruined my hand. It still gives me trouble. 2 strikes hit me dead center of the hand. I get a compound fracture. A splinter came up through. 1 strike hit me on the side of my hand, this side. Dislocated my pinky and broke that side of my hand. I've broken 3 other spots in the middle, and 1 strike hit in between these 2 fingers when they're on the table. And broke both of those at the knuckle. And anger isn't one of my feelings right now. I kind of got over the anger. Terrified that other people are going through what I had to go through as a child. It makes me really sad. It really does, because child abuse is still a thing. And I'm not talking about, they do something wrong so you give them a little slap on the wrist. I'm talking about what I went through. Being punched or slapped or whatever, and then when I was on the ground, kicked while I was on the ground, stuff like that. Stomped on, hit with hammers. He threw a brick at me once. Stuff like that, and makes me very sad. Not that I went through it, but it's still happening to people. A lot of what I went through, I grew up in a family of 5. I'm the youngest boy. I'm the only boy, I'm the youngest. It's a better way to word that. And it got to a point where he'd be drinking or fucked up or whatever, and he'd go after one of my sisters, and I'd get in the way. Especially when I had started drinking myself. My first drink was around 4 years old. I had pictures of it. But by then I had already been drinking. Every day in the morning I'd wake up and drink, and I'd drink throughout the day, and I'd drink before I went to sleep so I wouldn't be afraid. And it, in a way, I feel bad, and I wish I didn't have to go through stuff like that. And it was day to day, every single day for years, up until I was 12. I wasn't allowed to live in the house anymore. I actually ended up living in a shed, but that's for another topic, another part of my life. Do I wish it didn't happen to me? Yeah. In reality, a lot of the wounds I got and walked away with, and how broke it made my body after so long of it, I do it again because a lot of that stuff was meant for my sisters, and because it hit me first, because I took it. My sisters didn't have to, and me saying I wish it was a different way would be putting it on them. The reality, I couldn't stop my dad from being who he was. It was kind of the choice of stay out of his way or get in his way to protect somebody else. So that's what I did. And there was a lot of hurt. It caused a lot of damage in my head. A lot of pain. I was angry about it for a long time. And I'm not really angry over it anymore. It still hurts. It still scares me. Sometimes Courtney will go to give me a hug or touch my face and I flinch. And it messes her up. As far as what my recent emotions were, it was having to refeel the fear of not knowing what state my father was going to be in when he got home, not knowing how bad the beating was going to be, just general when I was a kid, not knowing if I was going to eat that day, not knowing if the heat was going to be on in the middle of winter, and if it wasn't, I gave my sisters my blankets, and I went and slept with the horse outside. Had my back up to him. His name was Bronco, and had my back up to him and shared his horse blanket with him. That's how I stayed warm some winters. My sisters had my blanket and my coat. It's a tragedy, and it deeply sucks because I went through it. I survived it. That was just the abuse from my parents, getting screamed at all the time, getting hit. I've had cigarettes put out on me, stuff like that. I survived it. And it fucking hurts my insides that there's someone right now it's happening to. And they might not make it through it like I did, or get to a place where they can make through it. When I was younger, I had rolling thoughts of suicide. That was my escape. That was my plan. If it ever got worse, and it always got worse. Always got worse until I wasn't allowed to live inside anymore because I started fighting back. So that's what my general feelings are. Right now in this moment when I was asked is hurt. It's not sympathy for what's happening. It's empathy. I've been there. I've had to have the uncomfortable conversations with teachers and guidance counselors and friends of why I have a black eye or why I have stitches or why do I have a cut or a bruise. Why am I limping? Why am I afraid to go to sleep at night? Why am I afraid to go home? Why do all the other kids get excited around holidays or weekends or summer break? Why do they all get excited and I'm terrified I'm going to be home? I know those feelings. I have empathy. I've had the wonderful opportunity. I'm invited to a place in the next county to talk to downtrodden youth, kids that come from similar homes. And it's actually one of Courtney's friends heard some of my story just from asking me questions, and I'm open about stuff. Was like, I need you to come speak to these kids. He didn't ask me, he was like, I need you to. And because then you see me with my daughter, and she fucking loves her daddy, and comes running to me and doesn't know what a raised hand means. She eats every day. She's happy. I'm in a loving relationship. I can have relationships with people. I survived it. So for him to ask me to come see if I could help other kids survive it was really good for me. Yeah, I think that's generally what I'm feeling. Empathy. I feel hurt for the people it's happening to. I don't have anybody around me in my life right now that I know of that's living that right now. But I still know it exists. I still know it exists, and it sucks knowing it. It sucks walking years with it. And that's what I'm feeling right now. I'm hurt. I'm afraid for the people who aren't going to make it. Yeah, that's about as honest as I can get with how I'm feeling right now. That's where my head's at. And I hope the rest of you guys' week goes good. If you have any other thing, I'll answer direct questions about my life. Topics like that, I think now might paint a better picture of the topics I'm talking about. It could be happy stuff too. Honestly, you could have caught me at I just feel so overwhelmed and loved with my daughter and Courtney, and glad me and Jess are civil to each other and I get along with her boyfriend. Like, those are all there, but what I'm currently feeling is kind of gross. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week.